This is Fight Fans Radio.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of BJJ Addict Radio. I'm the host and kingpin of this place, Real DWC, aka David Carroll. I'm just kidding about the kingpin part. I'm with my fellow host. I don't even like the word co-host. I always find that degrading too, argue.
It's okay.
So, the kingpin of this show,
It was
Jero LP.
going on.
Not much, man. Not much. I can't believe it's been another 7 days since our last episode. It feels like sometimes it feels like eternity, and sometimes it flies by.
Amen.
Hey, oh, I thought you said something else. I didn't realize you were amening me. So this week, in the next couple of weeks, I'm taking over the gi and the jiu-jitsu for our school there. So this week we're gonna do some De La Riva. Are you a big fan of De La Riva?
I don't know. Sometimes I play it. I play it because I have to keep in what do you call it? Stay up to date with today's grapplers.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly like I don't know, Marcelo, like butterfly,
Yeah.
half guard kind of guy. But I mean, I think it works a lot on your foot dexterity as well.
Foot
Playing with-
dexterity.
Playing with the De La Riva, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's everybody wants to do the berimbolo.
that's the only reason why I do it.
Everybody don't know how to get to De La Riva, like Bruno Amaral was saying. So nothing crazy. I go over like a lot of the basics and entries and stuff, but try to simplify it as best I can. But anyways, that's what we're doing this week, and it's amazing how much I love it. So I'm like, this week's gonna be the best. We're doing De La Riva, and then I realized I can't do it right because I'm teaching.
Yeah.
So, man, it's kind of like, it's fun, but damn, I want to do the drills myself. So you can't be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a shellfish. For everyone who hates our jokes, that's a good one for you. So, so that's about it for me. How about you?
Well, I ate some food.
Yeah, just crushed some homemade tacos.
Yeah. In English, it's called tacos.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So what did you think of tacos?
Oh, I love the talks. It's healthy.
Yeah,
I mean,
for the most part.
Yeah, like if you make it at home, I think it's healthier than eating it outside at.
For sure. And the 50-cent charge for a little bit of guacamole, when here you smother about $3 worth on there.
I think like what do you call it? An avocado is like $1, a full avocado.
Yeah, I think you are correct. So this weekend coming up is obviously GSP Nick Diaz. Give me your thoughts, man.
GSP via decision.
Really? It's going 5?
Pardon me?
It's going 5.
I think it's going 5. Man, like I would have said Diaz, but GSP looked amazing in his last fight. He had more balls than usual.
Nice. I
So,
like it.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of worried about the height difference.
Do you know or do you not know?
I don't know.
Man, I'm telling you, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. You know what? This is definitely not. This is not GSP's hardest fight by any means, though.
Yeah, well,
So
I was watching his open workout, and Faraz Zahabi is imitating
okay.
the Diaz.
Was it funny?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
You know what? I'm sure they came up and formulated a great game plan to neutralize his strengths.
Yeah.
And
He's doing a lot.
whatever everyone thinks GSP is going to do, he will do something different. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, he's going to take him, put him down on his back. He might not.
Hmm.
You never know. Maybe he'll stand and bang with them because, like,
God, I hope he doesn't.
you never know.
I hope he doesn't. He was doing sidekicks.
Who?
GSP.
Yeah, he has a good sidekick.
But I don't know. Just kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I love that clip out there where Joe Rogan's teaching him like the spin side.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good taekwondo guy. So, all right, let's go on. This weekend in Montreal, other than the UFC, there's a huge Fight for Charity 2, FFC 2. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn Montreal Midtown, 420 Sherbrooke Street, Montreal, Canada. If you guys are around that area, going to the UFC or whatnot, there is an event here. It goes to GSP's Anti-Bowling Foundation, 100% of the proceeds. Let's just go over some matches right now. This is going on in Montreal. This is, could have been anywhere in the world, but it happened to be in Montreal, and I think they put together a stellar card. All right, so in the main event, you got Bruno Fernandez, Gracie Baja Montreal versus Jake McKenzie. He's, one's a local guy, well known all over probably, but the other's a little bit more deeper competition-wise, Jake McKenzie. What do you think of that match?
Jake McKenzie.
No, like, just easy.
Well, I mean, Bruno Fernandez fought Bruno Fernandez is stationed out of Montreal, right? Gracie Baja, and he's fought like Galvao back in the day.
Okay, so he's got
competition experience with some of the best guys.
That's good, but Jake McKenzie right now is just too hot.
He's younger and probably a lot more hungrier.
Yeah, because either way, it's a great main event.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pumped. Tree Nguyen, supposedly this is his retirement match. He's fighting Mark Colangelo. Lee Villeneuve, he's fighting Gary Tonin. Gary Tonin just won ADCCs in Ohio. He just came off the Kumite. He's a murderer. But, everyone out there knows Lee Villeneuve in this area. Did some MMA fights, and he's a beast. So it should be a heads-up match. Gianno Grippo. The Wizard, that's not his nickname, but he's a wizard. He's fighting Luciano Uchi. He's a BTT Montreal guy. I don't think this match is happening now. Ryan Callery's fighting Olivier Aubin. Alex Garcia, MMA superstar, probably the next to blow up out of TriStar. Everyone here, if you guys don't know him, guarantee this guy makes it big in the sport. He's fighting Michael Tremblay. His sister Allison Tremblay is fighting Erin Heller. She's at Cobrina BJJ.
Ooh.
She's pretty sick, by the way.
Erin.
Erin is, but obviously Allison is huge too. There's about 6 other matches, guys. I'm not going to sit there and name them, but the other ones I named these are really big names, man, in the sport and also just like in this area.
Yeah.
They're very well known people. This is like, if you ask who the best in Montreal would be, like, these are some of the names that would constantly be popping up. So they got a lot at stake,
Yeah.
When you bring in people to fight from out of town, the Grippo and Gary Tonin and Jake McKenzie, it's not only different schools fighting, but it's also the city of Montreal trying to prove, like, we got high-level jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped for that. So good. I think we get all the footage as BJJ Addict, so we should put that out later on. Let's get on and call Mr. Bruno Tostes. Bruno Tostes. So, are you ready for this, my man?
I am.
Let's do this.
Hello.
Hey, can we speak to Bruno, please?
Yeah, this is Bruno speaking.
Hey, Bruno, you're live on BJJ Addict Radio. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Just leaving the gym right now. The gym is packed. Guys training hard. We have a tournament coming up on Saturday. So, glad to be talking to you guys.
Nice. That's the Naga Albany?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Naga in Albany, yes.
Yeah, how many guys do you got competing in that?
Well, we're looking forward to have about almost 40 guys competing with the kids, That
is amazing. When you have a tournament coming up, how does the training change as far as you know, a normal class to now that you got a tournament coming up? What are some key differences?
Oh, the thing is, you know, like the regular training, the one we training, we try to. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. The difference between we try to push the pace a little bit harder, get them to do more live training, you know, and to try to get the feeling of the tournament. Because, you know, when you go in the tournament, most people, you know, like I have a lot of beginners who try to compete for the first time, so they don't have the idea of, they don't know yet how intense it is when you go in the competition, you know, especially when you go against guys of other schools, you know. So we try to push the intensity a little bit harder and try to get them in a very uncomfortable positions. So we see the case that they get put in bad position in the tournament, they're able to move themselves out. And basically, you know, like the intensity changes a lot, you know.
I agree with you. Let's just go backwards now a bit. How long have you been in the sport, and how did you get started?
Hi, my friend. You know, I've been trained jiu-jitsu since I was 13, 14 years old. You know, I started it because I actually started it in Muay Thai. I was doing Muay Thai, and by the time I was back in Brazil training Muay Thai, I had one good of my friend, good train partner, you know, and he used to do jiu-jitsu as well. And every time my teacher used to put us to spar in live MMA, the kid keep taking me down and choke me out, you know. And I was like, oh, how this possible, you know? I'm fighting with him, stand up and really well, and every time he take me down, he's choke me or armbar or submit me somehow. So that's where I first got interested in that. But the most likely is that in Brazil in 1998, 1997, when I started getting involved with this, I feel like in jiu-jitsu, I was a little bit skeptical to try and train jiu-jitsu because, you know, in the beginning I had a different views about it. Like, oh, it's going to be two men roll around, you know, I prefer punch each other, you know, like, I think it's going to be better. But once this guy started submitting me, you know, I started opening my vision a little bit, and I started encourage myself to go to the jiu-jitsu gym, you know. And the day that I walk in the jiu-jitsu gym, you know, like I have my friend Daniel from in Brazil, he brought in the gym to training. And the person who gave me the first lesson was Romulo Barral. He thought he was a blue belt at the time, and he put me to work with a bigger, larger guy. And that day, I was able to do really well against him, and Romeo gave me such a good credits there, you know, like he said such a good things about him, and that was the key, you know, like, and I felt very, very good place in there where I worked with them, and just to start the right fit, you know, like with the right person, and it was great, you know.
What are some reasons you haven't quit doing jiu-jitsu and stayed with it for as long as you have?
The jiu-jitsu became my lifestyle. You know, in the beginning, I was doing it for fun because, you know, like I want to learn how to fight. I want to be able to do well and be able to compete. But since then, you know, I started being more involved, deeply training more constantly, and I started noticing different things. You know, I started noticing ways that I was doing things different that I was not used to do. You know, I started focus on eating better. I started focus on things that I was doing outside to help me be a better practitioner inside the mats. So I believe that was one of the key things that make me participate of the thing so long, because it changed my life in many different ways, you know, like make my lifestyle much better, you know, make my decisions outside the mats being much clearer, than that would everything that I'll do outside the mats would impact in the mats, you know. So it make me wonder, you know, like, oh, if I eat the McDonald's today, you know, like how well I'm gonna do, you know, like. So I started making better choices, and I started sleep better, you know, like, and making better, healthy choices to my life. And I like the lifestyle. And every time that I go to jiu-jitsu training, teaching, or be around the mats, you know, it's such a great experience, you know, and like in many practitioners are, you know, like, and you fell in love with something that I could not stop doing. you know. And
Was
I
there ever
believe
a
that's
time
where
where you didn't want to do this anymore, or was it always, I want to keep going, I want to keep doing this?
it was a time, yes, that I tried to focus on other things in my life and try to, especially when I just first moved to New York. I was young and not unsure what would happen. You know, but more the other things that I do besides jiu-jitsu, more I would knew it, that I know that jiu-jitsu would be the main thing for me. I had to do jiu-jitsu. I had to do this because I saw jiu-jitsu my only thing that I would be able to do good. And for the fact that to reach the ranks too. When I was 18, when I moved to New York, I was still a white belt. I still white belt in training, and then I was thinking about like I never start something in my life, and finish. To me, to reach the black belt was a huge dream, like something that I thought I would almost be impossible to, especially at that time when I moved to New York and no many black belts around. If you go to hands, you see many black belts there, but it was a few of them, and they had such a good privilege, and I was like, I want to become a black belt one day, and I believe, this would keep me motivated, keep me moving, and keep me feel like, I achieved something. It made me reach for a goal, and I wanted so bad that, and I did it, and I could never let it go.
When you first came to America and you're at Henzo's as a white belt, at what belt did you realize you want to start teaching jiu-jitsu and one day become a teacher? And then when did you actually become a teacher?
Well, and I was a blue belt at the time, and I remember this as it is today. I was sitting on the mat with Renzo and a good friend of Renzo, Ubaldo, and he has a little kid there. Like he had a little kid there, and Renzo was playing with the kid, and then the kid said like, "Oh," Renzo said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And Renzo said like, "It's easy. It's just when you grow up." And then the kid, like, open big smile on his face, because Renzo is such a great charisma guy for the kids, like, and the way when I saw it, when I saw him saying that, and it clicked on my head, like, I want to do teach jiu-jitsu, like, I want to spread the art. I want to be able to help them out. And then, way back, Gordinho moved into Renzo and to work with Renzo, be able to help Renzo manage that gym there. And then Gordinho was always look out for me, also help them in the gym, like helping the new guys show up and help me teaching how to teach class, Gordinho, those guys believe in me, thought that, like I would be able to good for them, and then that's how it started. Became like help them, the instructor, help the professors there to teach the class, and that's how I started give my interest on, And then on late 2004, I was able to meet somebody that live away from the city, and then I was making the trips into Albany, it's like 2 hours and a half from the city, but every time I came to Albany, there was no place to train. I was looking for a place of training at that time, like there was not many things around. And I came to Renzo and say, like, Renzo, Albany doesn't have no jiu-jitsu. And then Renzo was like, oh, you shouldn't start teaching out of your garage, out of your girl's garage. You go open, get some mats and bring to the garage and start teaching from that. And in the beginning, I was like, boy, I teach from my garage. I don't want all these guys come know where I live, come to my house, use my bathroom, So I went to a place called Aikido place here. And I introduced myself to the owner. And after I talked to him, he's like, well, you seems like to be a very nice guy. So what we're going to do to you, I'm going to give you 2 months off here, not have to pay. I give you 2 months to see how you can build your clients here. And I make a phone call to New York, like I contact my guys there. and then I was able to, my first class, have 6 guys in the class. And that for me was awesome, you know. And the most better thing of this is one of those guys is still with me until now. He's still loyal to me. Chad R. He's one of my students, my long-time student, you know, like, and he's been helping me tremendous, you know, like on my training, on my, you know, like run the school and everything, you know. So I was very happy, you know, like to do this, you know. And then I knew that I have no other option. Teach jiu-jitsu would be it, you know.
Nice. And how many students do you have now?
Well, we, you know, like we have a very average, almost 150 students with the kids, you know, count with overall, you know. But we have a lot of guys that came over time, you know, like can come by and leave, can leave, you know, like. But as it today, we have a close range of 140 people in the gym, you know, 140, 150 people around.
Wow, that's amazing considering 6 people your first class. That's unreal.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, man. You know, that's great.
So you hear about legendary sparring sessions as far as roles and stuff at Renzo's main academy in New York. How intense and crazy is it during some of these classes where there's only black belts on the mat? I heard there's like 40, 50 black belts sometimes in one training session.
Yeah, you know, the intensity and the training that we've been doing in New York is the only one that I know, because to tell the truth, you know, like that's where the place where I form myself into be, you know, like as good jiu-jitsu practitioner I am, you know. So for me, to be able to always be in there, you know, like always be part of those guys, you know, like training with them and be able to surround myself with that all the time. You know, I believe that was the main thing that, you know, like make me so used to, you know, to walk in the gym. I see all these guys, George St. Pierre, Frank Edgar, and become so used to, because, you know, like we've been seeing those guys since early age, you know. Early ages when Ryan Gracie was coming to the gym, you know, like bring Fabio Leopoldo, Nemo Shem, I forgot, I don't know how to say his last name, but there was a time that we were looking, when I was still blue belt, white belt, I was looking at those guys, boy, I want to be able to roll as intense as those guys. And just to keep looking them train, inspire myself to be able to train just like them, you know, I believe that's where the intensity I became so used to the intensity, you know, and I feel that for people the outside, you know, like some areas like the area that I am, that is very rare to see black belts. Now a lot more black belts popping out, but it's very rare to see a lot of black belts surround the mats, you know, and some people only see me, even my students have only seen me as a black belt, you know. So for them, it must be like something, oh, wow, two black belts rolling. But I think I just got used to for being so much involved, so be part of this, you know.
Absolutely. What's something that you've taken from that main academy or from Renzo or Jan Danhar? What's something that you try to instill in your students?
You know, I take almost everything that I take from there, I bring back home. You know, like every day that I go to New York, everything that I learned there, I try to incorporate into my gym. You know, like and one of the most things that, you know, like the most thing that I appreciate there is the loyalty of the guys that the Renzo produce. You know, because I will be with Renzo until I die. You know, like I don't have no doubt of this. You know, because, you know, the way he carry himself on, the way he put on the class, the way he run his place, you know, like it makes it feels like, you know, and it feels like, you know, that's where I want to pass to my students, you know, like be loyalty, you know, like secure, be nice in the gym, you know, like, and I feel that's where I try to bring it the most, you know, like the loyalty of Renzo students, the loyalty and the be proud to represent Renzo's Academy, you know, like, so that is the most thing that I bring out there, because when you go down New York, you can see a lot of people has Hanzo's logo tattoo on the bodies, you know, like myself included, you know, and that amazed me the most, you know, like to know that I'm part of something much bigger than, you know, like I could ever thought I could be. You know, like it's a great group of guys that is very loyal to the master, you know, and that's where, you know, like I try to bring back to the gym, you know, like I try to bring to my area, to my academy, that saying that, you know, the loyalty is the part, hold the Hands flag, you know, like be loyal to the team, you know, like, and you can get better than that, you know, when you see the guys being loyal to you, create a family of atmosphere, you know, like, and be able to have such a great followers, you know, like such a great group of people with inspire myself every day to wake up early, to be able to be in good shape, be able to be in a good learning, always learning more, you know, like so I can always pass more and give more back to them, you know. So that's where I learned from those guys, you know, like be active and be loyal, and you know, and spread the word.
Quick question on conditioning for jiu-jitsu. Do you think that in order to improve your jiu-jitsu, you should, you know, do strength and conditioning, or strictly should you just work on jiu-jitsu instead of working out?
And that's my view on this. You know, like I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong, but what I did was, and I started doing some CrossFit, you know, like to try to help me out on my condition stuff. And what I felt was that I was getting myself much tired, you know, like, and I was avoiding training rolling jiu-jitsu because, you know, my body was not a response as well, you know, like if I focus myself 100% on jiu-jitsu, you know. So I was waste a lot of energy trying to lift the weights, doing CrossFit, and try to do good on that, you know, like, and I was leading myself away for learn more jiu-jitsu and to be able to be in a good pace, you know, like good shape to do jiu-jitsu, you know. So I thought, you know, like myself thought that, you know, like for me, jiu-jitsu, I could create a good conditions by, you know, like train jiu-jitsu more, you know, like, but more and give more to learn, be more in rolling time to do this. But today's days is really hard because if you see guys getting very good condition, and if in case they competing in a high level there where I am, you know, like conditions, you know, like, and do lifting stuff is really important, you know. So we have to find a ways to implement it on your training, you know. And I found myself doing the best thing that I found myself doing is the TRX. You know, like I've been doing a lot of TRX and doing little kettlebells, but light stuff just to keep the condition up and work my way to do this. But it's really important to work at strength condition. You know, like you know, you got to respect your body. You got to listen to your body. You know, like if I weight myself too much doing, you know, doing weights and take away from my time on the mats, you know, like I start feel like, you know, I have a lot of areas that I can work on my jiu-jitsu better than go in the gym and lift the weights, you know, like, so if I have that time available to go do CrossFit, I would prefer go to the gym and work some jiu-jitsu, you know, like, so therefore I can get better on my techniques and get better overall like that, you know.
I like it. I was reading up that you were jiu-jitsu coach to Matt Hamill. Are you still currently doing that?
Sorry?
Matt Hamill, the fighter, you were his jiu-jitsu coach?
Yes, I am his jiu-jitsu coach.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. So how did this come about, and how is it to work with such a high-level athlete like Matt Hamill?
Well, you know, we've been working, you know, like Matt Hamill came to me about like 5 to 6 years ago, you know, like soon after his fight after Michael Bisping, he came to me, you know, like because they were missing a jiu-jitsu coach on that team, you know, and since they met, the reason why I got Matt Hamill came to me was because one of the fights on the England card. Matt Serra, who was there as well. You know, like, so, oh, you from New York, I need to learn some jiu-jitsu. Why can't you come down to training with us, you know, like, but when Matt Hamill realized, you know, that Matt Serra's school was a couple hours away, couple hours away from where Matt Hamill lives, you know. So the guy's like, well, so let's try to see what's close by you, you know. So at the time, Duff Holmes and Matt Hamill did some research, and then they give Matt Serra a list of jiu-jitsu schools around, you know, and one of the lists was me. So he starts saying name. When they say Bruno Tostes, Matt Serra said, stop, you know, that's where you should go. You know, like, and I was lucky enough to be able to meet those guys, you know, like front hands, you know, like be able to know them from there. And then when Hamill came to me, you know, was, you know, like I was already, you know, like was like, well, let's do so, you know. At the time I even knew who we were. And then we start working, and then to work with Matt is a little bit different because, you know, he's totally deaf, you know, like he cannot listen nothing to me. And as you know, so far, you know, like my English, I have a broken English, you know. So to him understand me on the beginning was a little bit tough, you know. Was more hands-on on him, you know. Like I keep putting my hands on, and he came very basic, you know. Like and to me to start introduce jiu-jitsu for him, basic stuff, be able to take care about his neck, you know. Like he's already high level athlete, you know. So to him, picking up the moves, picking up the technique was really quick. But, you know, was everything new for him. He's a high wrestler, that, you know, like, so he didn't know nothing about arm bars and stuff like this, you know. So I started teaching him basic stuff. I started being able to, you know, like, communicate with him, and we became good friends, you know, like, we become good friends. He believes in my work, you know, like, he know we work hard, you know, like, so that was one of I was really, really happy to be able to have the opportunity, you know, and I still work with him, you know, like he's doing surgery right now, but we're still working on it, you know, like, and eventually by July or August, we'll see him compete again, you know.
Nice. Do you make him wear the gi?
Yes, he wear gis because I have no ideas about this. Is like only because he's an MMA fighter, he never gonna compete the gis. You know, like I should work with him only without the gi. You know, and I don't believe in that. You know, I believe jiu-jitsu is with the gi. You know, if you want to learn jiu-jitsu, you know, like you need to learn jiu-jitsu with the gi. You know, you need to learn how to defend your arms with the gi on. You know, like you learn how to defend your neck with the collars. You know, like so. Therefore, once they take the gi off, you know, like it would be much easier to scramble yourself out, especially when for him, his conditions, you know, like with MMA without shirt, he's very slippery, you know, like so it makes things much easier for him, you know, like so to him to learn the basics, you know, like the traditional jiu-jitsu, you know, like it. So I make him wear the gis, you know, like and I could not give him a white belt since from the beginning, so he started as a blue belt, you know, like because with all his, you know, like knowledge and stuff, you know, like his strength, there was no way to give him a white belt, you know, like so we decided to start him as a blue belt because, you know, like he's already a high level athlete, wrestler, and he's work his way up to purple belt, you know, like, and now he's still a purple belt now, but we still practice the gi, we still, you know, like roll around, you know, like, but soon towards the fights, you know, like when we in camp towards fight, we take the gi off, you know, like, but to jiu-jitsu for me, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is with the gi, you know, like, and no gi is a part of the game, is a grappling and stuff, but I believe a lot on the gi, you know, like, and that's my beliefs are, you know, like, and he accepted it, and he trained gi just like everyone, you know, like everyone have to start somewhere, and then he knows it, and then, you know, so that's how we start getting him involved with jiu-jitsu, you know.
Nice. I respect that. I love the gi also.
Yeah.
What are some goals that you have left that you want to accomplish?
Well, you know, like my main thing, you know, I knew that once I start training, when I start become practice jiu-jitsu, I always thought I wanted to be a world champ, and that started getting harder and harder and harder to me, like more because like you run the business, have a family, like be able to know, like and compete against such a high level guys in the black belt division now, and that goal it started getting a little bit far from me, and then I started to realize that if I have to put such a hard work on, like if I have to do so much to be able to get to that goal, like I will have to sacrifice a lot of things, like and people close to me, my family gonna suffer a lot. So, my goal today, like is to be able to provide my service to others, like and help others to become a world champ, like help promote, like help my students and the people that come underneath me to one day, like reach those goals, like and if that happen, like I have many students that doing really well, and with their successfuls, like when they doing well, like and make me very very happy just as much if I was be doing that my own self, So I would say, like my main goal would be as it is today, like is to keep teaching, helping build my school, like promote more guys as like as the time come by, like you would see more athletes searching after me, So that's where I thought it would be a more realistic goal as my family growing, like and as I grow myself as well,
Nice. That's pretty amazing and very selfless of you. Unfortunately, our time's up for this interview. I'd like to say thank you for coming on and talking with us. Before we let you go, though, just let everyone know where your school is and how they can get a hold of you if they want to come down and train.
Yes. First off, my man, I want to thank you guys to reach out for me, like and getting me on the show, because I was very flattered right there. But my school is located in Albany, New York, and we're here, like if you guys want to check anything, is my academy is HansGracieLayton.com. We have all the information about all the stuff that we do, like and I just came back from a trip from Brazil, and I was really happy to go on my back in town and go back to my first jiu-jitsu school that I've been training, under Cristiano Lazzarini, Chichi. He's an amazing guy. He's working with Romulo Barral as well. He used to teach us in there back in the days, And also, like I want to say a big thanks to Romeo because, like Romeo, I make me start when I start jiu-jitsu. My first class was with him, and I've been inspired by him since then, So he's a very thankful, and to have such a great master like Hans Grace, like that guy make everything possible for me, everything you can even imagine. So I'm very thankful for them, like and. Again, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Like anytime you guys want to need anything, just please reach me out.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks a lot, my man. Appreciate that, guys. Have a
Same.
good night. You too. Later.
All right, guys. Let's just let's keep this rolling as usual, man.
Oos.
Let's do this.
Oos.
You're gonna get. I like the way you say oos.
Oos.
All right. So next up, we got Ian McPherson. You know much about this man? About to find out.
Alliance.
Yeah, headquarters.
Ooh. Romero Cavalcante.
Yeah, man.
This is Ian.
Oh, you're live on BJJ Addict Radio.
All right. Hey, guys. How are things?
How are you?
All right.
How you
Well,
doing?
thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to join the show.
Hey, likewise. So just so you know, there is two of us. So if you hear two different voices, you're not going crazy.
All right. I appreciate the forewarning.
All right. So let's just jump into this. You have been creating quite the buzz you absolutely decimated everything at brown belt coming up. How did this all start to you? Obviously, you're now a black belt, but how did this all start? And most people that do the sport know it is hard work, but just the average person might think this has been easy for you. So how did this all start?
Okay, well, first of all, nothing about it is easy. It is a full-time job, but it's also recreation, so I don't think of it as work, but just this is the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Anyway, it all goes back to my wrestling days. My father got me into wrestling in high school, and despite how much I liked it, I was never all that great. I belonged to a very good team, and I just wasn't a killer like everyone else on the team. So my wrestling coach was actually a jiu-jitsu guy. He trained at Alliance, where I joined and still belong, and introduced me to jiu-jitsu, and I thought, well, okay, this will be a good thing during the off-season. And then the season came back, and I decided, well, you know what, I like jiu-jitsu better, so I'll just stick with this forever. And I didn't go back to wrestling my senior year. Here we are 11 years later, still doing jiu-jitsu, and I still love it.
So, being part of Alliance, and what does that mean for yourself, and what has this done for you?
I guess the best answer would be that, and I imagine most people feel this way about their own schools, but it's a family. I mean, yes, these are our training partners. We fight each other every day and work hard together, but this is a family in the literal sense. These are the people I go to lunch with and hang out with outside of the school, and call on the phone, and go to school with and work with. So it's not just about jiu-jitsu. It's about everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I read your bio on BJJ Legends. Pretty good site.
All right.
And how did you manage to compete and to go to school and train 5 times a day, or sorry, 5 times a week, I think it was? Like, how do you prioritize, like, and be successful at everything?
Well, I wouldn't say I was successful at everything, but sometimes things work out. Anyway, it was a full-time job, a few of them, and there were a few years where I could forget about getting any rest or having a social life or doing anything fun. And yes, there were sacrifices, like there always are with school and jiu-jitsu and holding a job and trying to hold a relationship. But I've said before, and I still really believe that you can have it all. You can be a full-time jiu-jitsu guy and still pursue other things, other hobbies, like, well, whatever you happen to be into, and then school and holding a job and leading a, for lack of a better term, normal life. I think you can do it all.
How important is it competing at high levels to actually have that balance?
Well, obviously training at the higher level means more training, not just harder training. I think it does make a difference when you reach the top, which I don't claim to be there, but I watch my coaches, Lucas Lepre, he does this full time, and he's the man, and I can't keep up with him, but I do my best.
Yeah,
but I think at the upper levels, black belt in particular, you have to make sacrifices. Maybe I misspoke. Maybe you can't have it all at that level.
That's a good point.
That's
world champion.
We'll see.
Yes, world champion at Brown. multi-medalist before this. Even no-gi, you competed at a very high level and medaled there. What are your goals as a black belt? Do you plan on reaching this same success?
Absolutely. I would love to get a world title, or at least one. I think the ultimate goal for every jiu-jitsu practitioner should be to get a world title. Statistically, we know that that's not going to happen, but that should be everyone's goal that they strive for.
Nice. Have you noticed a change as far as your responsibilities since you've gotten a black belt? Do you realize that just the belt alone, people will look at you differently and expect something magical out of you as a lower belt? I remember the first time I met a black belt, it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the belt does have a certain status that a lot of people recognize and respect, and I would argue that sure, that's appropriate in a martial art, but they need to realize I'm just a guy. I'm a guy just like them, and I clawed my way up to the black belt level, and they'll get there too.
Yes. Do you find, though, inside your own academy that you have a certain responsibility to carry yourself a certain way?
Well, we need to set an example for the lower belts and to help them come up the levels as well. Absolutely. We need to help them train, help them learn the way we want to, just like upper level guys helped us get to the top.
Well put.
Yeah, it's the higher the status, the greater the responsibility should go with it.
Good point.
Rather than
how has your training been, considering that the Pan Ams are 8 days away, I believe?
Training's been the same. At Alliance, we take the stance that we'll train hard all year and compete hard all year. And granted, this is the jiu-jitsu season. We maintain this same level during the off-season, if there is such a thing. So,
nice.
Effectively speaking, nothing has really changed. Just now we know a tournament's approaching. That's about it.
You guys don't do anything crazy, considering the Pan Ams is one of the major 5 tournaments of the year?
Well, instead of... We might do an extra round of training, of live training. Right now we're holding our Pan Am camp at the Alliance headquarters, and we're happy to have all the visitors from all over the country. It's good for us to see some variety and a new perspective on the game with a lot of new partners. But no, the training is the same.
That's crazy. Let me just read out some names that are in your division, and just so people know who you compete against as a competitor. Of course, just at Pan Am's alone, Clark Gracie is there, Jake McKenzie, Vitor Silva, Otivia Zuza, DJ Jackson, Sean Roberts just got his black belt. You are in. I mean, it's one thing to say stacked. I'm going to say super stacked division. Now, do you like that, or how do you deal with that, knowing that all these guys are in your division?
All right. Well, that's a good question. Let me tell you, there's no such thing as an easy division anymore at any belt level, at any weight level. Jiu-jitsu, with the explosion it's had in the last few years, in terms of numbers and skill of every competitor, it doesn't matter where you go. The Pan Ams are the real deal, and you must realize that this is a world-class tournament. So yes, there's a lot of pressure, but we've done this before. Those of us who've competed at the Pan Ams know what it's like, and we know what to expect. You named, I think, all the notable guys in the division, and there are several more that deserve their credit, but there's only one first place, and we're all after it.
All of them are obviously high level. I was just naming the ones that the average fan would know.
Yes.
Have you faced most of these guys coming up the ranks before, or will this be perhaps the first time you lock it up with some of these guys?
Let me think. I fought DJ and Ottavio, and I've lost to each of them. I would really like to get some vengeance for each of those. We'll see. Otherwise, there's no one I recognize in the division that I've fought, or I haven't overlooked them. So it'll be nice to try some new people. Yes,
absolutely.
Intimidating to fight someone you don't know about, but it'll be fun too.
Yeah. When you're about to go to this tournament, for those thinking about competing, or maybe they don't know about the mindset, is there a point to even sign up to a tournament just to say, hey, I feel like competing, I don't care how I do, I just want to get out there and do it? Is that a good mindset, or should you always go there to get the gold?
Well, I think any participation is good, whether you're trying to win the division or not. Of course, if you're in there, you should try your best and aim for the number one spot. For these guys you mentioned who maybe don't have a lot of experience, most of them may be white belts, blue belts, maybe some purple belts who have never done a high-level tournament before, I would suggest to them that they remember they're only fighting other white belts and blue belts and purple belts, and if their opponents were really that good, they would graduate. So I would tell them to have some faith in themselves. They might be surprised.
Nice. So after the Pan Ams, what else is on your list for the remainder of the year, and what are some goals that you plan on accomplishing this year?
Let me see. There are a number of tournaments coming up. The only ones I can say absolutely I'll do that I know for certain would be the Mundial, of course. That's the big one. And the Atlanta Open, since it's right here local in Atlanta. The goal, of course, is to win them. The goal is always to win them. As for other goals... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll ask my question after.
As for other goals, they revolve around training, like acquiring new moves, new sweeps, new submissions, improving my cardio and strength, maybe getting my weight a little more stable. My coaches tell me to drop down to middleweight. I've been doing a lot of running. My weight has fallen, so they say, well, why don't you go middleweight instead of middle heavy, where you've always fought? So I'm giving it a try, and I'm eager to see how that goes.
Well, good luck with that.
Oh, thank you.
Is there added pressure competing in your own backyard at the Atlanta Open? I personally hate competing in my own area.
I do too, but arguably it's easier than flying across the country to compete.
That's
if
a good
nothing
point.
else, you can get a decent night's rest in a comfortable bed when you fight at home. There's no time
These are
change.
valid points for sure. Before we let you go, I was just wondering if there's anyone you'd like to thank or shout out, sponsors. Unfortunately, our show is coming to an end, my friend. But yeah, anything you'd like to plug right now, now's the time to do it.
Oh, that'd be very nice. First of all, a big shout out to my sponsors, Show Your Roll, Budo Videos, and Athletic Body Care for taking great care of me. my late father, who passed in January, Mr. Jim, as we all know him, the entire Alliance team, and every jiu-jitsu practitioner in the world. And you hosts as well for being so gracious to have me on.
Thank you. It's definitely our pleasure. You know, I've watched you compete many times through one of your sponsors, Budo Videos, with their live streaming. So, yeah, I really wish you luck for the Pan Ams and the rest of the year. I hope your goals all get accomplished.
Well, you're very gracious to say that. I hope so too, and I appreciate the good words.
No problem. Enjoy your night, my friend.
You too, guys. Stay in touch.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Jer,
Yo.
when you hear these people talk and they tell you your goals, man, does it kill you that you can't get out there and go to some of these big tournaments?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's crazy. Like, everyone I talk to is like, I ask them their goals also, and they also say world champion, but they never compete at the Worlds.
Yeah.
It's very hard to win.
Like, I have goals.
You got to go out there every year.
It's true.
Imagine, like, it'd be sick to start one year and then I'm willing to almost not do any tournaments the rest of the year and save up and just do one a year, a big one, and just make that my once a year. Every year I go to try to win this tournament, and I don't care if it takes me to senior 4 division. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But the Pan Ams are ridiculous this year. This is probably the most stacked every division I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, just keep competing, I think, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, you don't see, like, I don't know.
But this is definitely, like, they've had big divisions before, but this is the biggest I've ever seen for black belts competing. Like, talking 20 plus people in some divisions.
It's ridiculous.
My buddy's in blue belt. He has 100 and I think some people right now in his division.
Who?
Jeff.
Oh.
Can you imagine, like, how do you compete in 100-man division? Last time there's like 130 when he went going or something. Like,
how many fights is that? Like 8?
If you know what's crazy though, really, like 100 to 50, 50 to 25, 25 to 12, 12 to 6, 3, then you're done pretty much. Like, it's still only like 4 or 5 matches.
Yeah.
But anymore, like, you might have, the way they break it down is not perfectly like that, so you might actually have like 6, 7 matches in a day.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know what? Arguably, like, I know it's amazing being like a black belt and stuff, but whoever wins these blue belts at the Worlds even, or this, like, it is much harder.
If you think about it.
You have to have 11 matches, man.
If you think about it, like, as jiu-jitsu is getting bigger, the black belt division is just going to be, like, so big in the future.
Yeah, well, let's hope it keeps growing, and it is like that. Because really, for local, like these ones, yes, but local tournaments, nobody competes still as a black belt. So hopefully it becomes a little more like the magic of it wears off, as far as, like, you don't have anything to lose if you lose as a black belt.
Yeah.
Right now, I think people are scared because they're all school owners and you can't lose, right? Because why would people want to train with you, even though that makes no sense? Like, everyone knows it doesn't mean shit. You're out there competing at least. But I'd rather have my instructor go out and fucking compete and lose, you know, like, go show, like, that you do what we do, than not, you know, and just, you know, I don't like that. So.
Amen.
Yeah, man. So if people want to judge, you know, it's cool if your instructor kicks ass, but if he doesn't, you still got to respect it. At least he's out there doing what you do.
Yeah.
You lose, he loses. We're all still going to train on Monday or whatever after the weekend. So that's my little spiel. Yeah. Let's wrap this up. It's March break. My mom's in town. I got some family stuff to get to. We still did it over an hour of this show. It was nice.
It was.
It was nice. It was nice to catch up with you. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, Guy.
All right, let's do that.
I will be there.
And everyone listening, remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We haven't put out a video in a bit, but you know, still subscribe. We will put something out very soon. Perhaps us talking again, because that was the most popular one. So
We'll talk about our Metamorphs picks.
Yeah, let's do it. And let's do the future picks. Hasn't even come out yet. Remember, GSP, Diaz, hit us up on our Facebooks, BJJ Radio, and let us know who you pick for that fight. All right, guys? So let's do that. Woos. Have a good night and wrap it up.
Hang tight, dudes.
Oh, that's the saying. Sorry. And hang tight, dudes.